jazzing up your day with a touch of soul. The Living Room on 938 Live.
Welcome into the Living Room on 938 Live, and The Art of Shopping is back for its second installation this year. In case you're thinking they're going to teach you how to shop better, or how to scope out those bargains because it's the Great Singapore Sale here. Not quite. It's part of Marina Bay Sands property-wide Sands for Singapore Festival 2014. So it is, to some degree, shopping for them great bargains, but it's also for a good cause. So that's sounding good to us. Along with the retailers at the shops at Marina Bay Sands, they donated close to 40 signature items that have been transformed into one-of-a-kind art exhibits under the influence of local contemporary artists. Now, what's happening is they're going to aim to raise funds in support of local art education, and it's part of Art Outreach Singapore. Now, some of the beneficiaries are Association for Persons with Special Needs, Community Chest, Singapore Association for the Deaf. So it's all for good cause. Sounding good to us. With us today, Maybelline Yeo Anderson, who's chairman of Art Outreach. Also with us, two artists, Eric Funanda and also Sarah Chu. Thanks so much for joining us today. I want to first ask Maybelline how this all came about. Maybe you could give us some ideas as to what Art Outreach's key goals are and why you're working with some of the beneficiaries.
Well, thank you very much. Art Outreach was started in 2003, and the idea was really to be a partner with Singapore Education. The idea is to bring art lessons into the classroom every month and expose kids to wider worlds of learning. It's not so much art production that we cared about. It was more trying to get the kids to think about why the art was made, because of the messages, of the attempt to record history, provide testimony. And so, we've been very lucky to be a long-term partner with Marina Bay Sands. We've worked with them on various projects because we've been commissioned to produce tours, various educational materials with the exhibitions. But this one is quite special, The Art of Shopping, because we thought, firstly, being a woman, I guess I have a predilection for shopping.
Okay.
So, when Marina Bay Sands said, we're doing a whole weekend around giving back to Singapore, I thought, how nice to engage maybe the retailers, because we're now 11 years old now, and after caring for kids in the classrooms, we figure we really want to help develop the sector. So the younger artists, who are, perhaps who don't really have the chance to get out there and get commissions, those are the ones that we really wanted to focus on. And artists who produce, for lack of a better term, sort of the more angsty, street art, the graffiti stuff, the pop stuff, that may not have, hordes of collectors just yet. We wanted to bring them to meet with retailers and come and a lovely confluence, if you will, of sort of high-end items with local I think if you will, the real voice of Singapore art.
Sounds good. Eric, you've been around the block, shall we say, so to speak.
Really?
You've been a full-time illustrator for quite a while. You've worked at these great places that sort of bring together business and art, so to speak. Why was it important for you to get involved in something like this?
Well, I've never painted on bags, so I thought it was like, oh, cool, I'll...
We'll talk a bit about Eric's piece in a while. He's painted on a bag, essentially.
Cool. Yeah, I've painted on a couple of bags, and I was like, I've never worked with this medium and like that kind of material before. Had to do a bit of research, gone on the internet, Googled, how do I paint in bags? I did. And
it was all there, wasn't it?
It was all there.
Yes,
it was all there. It was great. And it was nice. And like I haven't actually touched traditional medium for quite a while. I've been on digital quite a lot, and I was like, we've been a nice change. So I was like, cool, and really good for a good cause, so I think it was good.
So this is not the first time per se that you've been drawing on a bag, is it?
I've drawn on things.
Okay.
But this is the first time, and plus I think the risk was like, these bags are expensive.
So it's one time go, man, no mistakes.
Nail this, gotta get it right.
Pushing you to the edge.
Pushing me to the edge, thank you. Yeah. But yeah, basically why good for a good cause and all that as well.
We're looking at the piece that you did. Is it called Intervention? Salon by Surinder?
Yeah.
Christian Dada Clutch. So, expensive bag. Did you practice first on something else?
Nope.
Man alive.
I
mean,
I don't know. Okay, so look, I had to get the bag, and I was like, I can't paint this material, so I had to strip it. So yeah, I don't know if I should tell you guys
looking
this.
Looking at word faces around.
Yeah,
this room,
to get it to
prime it.
I had to prime it. I had to sand down
for your pigments to stick, so to speak, right?
Yeah, for the paint to stick and stuff. And I was just like, man, I better nail this. But yeah, it was fun.
So with all that effort put in, do you feel a bit of separation anxiety? This can't be on display in your living room unless you buy it. You could. For a good cause.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I was quite proud of the piece, truthfully. I was like, oh, hello, this turned out kind of all right. Now it's gone.
Yeah.
Not quite yet. It turned out more than all right. It's beautiful pieces.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's talk with Sarah a bit. Sarah, you did the intervention Liu Li crystal glasses.
Yes, I did.
Tell us a bit about how that came about.
Okay, for
Expensive glasses.
Yes, the expensive glasses. It's titled Passing Across and Traveling Through, and I was very interested in the idea of transition as a perpetual state of being. So I'm kind of relating the moment in time to the experience of being on an escalator. And what you see is actually people traveling and traversing between ports. I'm documenting multiple moments in time and capturing these individuals in the state of flux. So the final outcome is kind of a composite of etches that's being so like photographs that are being etched onto separate acrylic glasses, and then you get like a final image.
Did school kind of prepare you for something like this? I mean, I know you did multidisciplinary fine arts and stuff like that, but crystal glasses.
Correct. So I see myself as a multidisciplinary fine artist. So I did a lot of photography, and I've moved on to doing like more video installations. So working on glass is something that I've never done before.
Short of drinking out of them, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, just drinks. Yeah. So I think for me, when I got the glasses, I mean, I strongly believe in using the most appropriate medium to convey my intentions. And because a lot of my works deal with social alienation and isolation, I thought, you know, what would be more interesting than to work with a medium that I've never worked with before. So I actually worked really closely with AVS Printing Company, and they actually really were very helpful throughout this process. So we got together and I explained to them what I wanted to do, and then we worked things out, and they managed to get it etched out for me as well.
Any near misses? More thumbs, right? I'd probably wreck it.
Yeah, thankfully not.
Okay,
everything went good. I usually plan way beforehand, and I have a final outcome in mind, and then I work backwards. So I'm very particular about how I handle the glasses. So thankfully, everything went well and smoothly.
Was it extra pressure though?
It was pressurizing.
Bit like Eric, you know, I've got to Google how this is done. It was pressurizing because
I was out of the country. I'm currently doing my master's in London, so I was kind of a bit nervous, like, you know, I'm there and then I'm trying to make sure the glasses are doing okay here and sending my things over. We're having conversations. I had to come back a week, like a few weeks before, to make sure everything is okay. So that was nerve-wracking for me. Yeah.
So basically, extra pressure.
Yes,
okay, we're chatting about the art of shopping. More in just a bit on the Living Room 938 Live. Stay with us.
The Living Room on 938 Live. Time now to rejoin the Living Room on 938 Live.
Thanks for staying with us on the Living Room on 938 Live. We're chatting with Maybelline Anderson, who is chairman of Art Outreach. Also with us, artists Eric Fernanda and Sarah Chu, as they tell us more about their pieces, which are done for a good cause, all for a good cause, as part of Marina Bay Sands Property-Wide Sands for Singapore Festival 2014. The Art of Shopping saw retailers at the shops of Marina Bay Sands donate close to 40 signature items. So Maybelline, was it challenging to get retailers on board, or everyone was happy problem, everyone wanted in?
Well, it was a bit of both, right? Because, you know, the Sands for Singapore Festival became better known this year. And if you think about all the shops at the Marina Bay Sands, property, I think there are over 300. And we were actually allowed to sneak into their retailers conference. It's held in a theater. It was quite a production. And we managed to sort of, I had to speed date 300 individuals in the room. Well,
okay.
That was interesting. And I think we had a lot of interest. And one perhaps that I want to talk about is from Kofu, and they are the food court guys, right? So when they were in the midst of bags and jackets and luggage and, you know, all that kind of things being donated, Kofu said, hey, we want to do something too. And I thought, good Lord, right? This is a food court. What do you do?
Plates, I don't know.
Yeah, clothes actually.
Plates, okay.
Because they in the end donated all kinds of things associated with the kopitiam.
Okay.
You know, your coffee pots and your spoons. And artists have managed to transform coffee pots and coffee socks into the most amazing installations. I wanted to just talk a little bit about Sarah as well, because, you know, when we are on a radio show, you don't see the exquisite pieces in front of you, but, you know, Eric and Sarah represent, you know, artists who transform the ordinary into extraordinary little worlds of art, you know, because in a cocktail glass, you know, is this little beautiful, you know, minute world full of detail and sort of magic in it. And that's where, you know, they really taken this idea and run with it. So again, you know, with the coffee socks being transformed into little mountains, if you will, the artist, you know, Terence Lin, put spoons in the coffee socks and he propped them up. He dyed them into all kinds of gorgeous, you know, muted shades. And he says, look, you know, with enough coffee in us, we can move mountains. And it was, you know, the whole mountainscape, if you will, that he presented made out of coffee socks. So, you know, we were very, enchanted and amused by how this came out. Yeah.
So it's really, wow, it can come from anywhere.
Well, exactly. True, and that's why, you know, I'm glad to have the artists here, because this is exactly what we wanted to say, you know, to people, you know, that, you know, there are voices, there are ideas, there are stories. You know, when you think about, you know, the resonance with Art Outreach's program, where we go into classrooms and, you know, we know that we're supposed to be good at math and science and all that, you know, but through art we tell people who we are. I mean, Singapore has come so far and so fast. If we have an art stage or a biennale at this point in our lives, we're ready to have good art. You know, good art is good thinking, and that's what we're trying to do.
So again, Eric, you had drawn on a bag this time. Has this inspired you to think of, you know, really out there materials that you might want to work with?
Oh no, I don't play with materials much. I mean, like, I just like painting stuff. Keep it simple. But, like, you know, bags provide a different, you know, canvas to that stuff. So I'm just, I could paint more bags. You want to hook me up more bags?
You got it. Mine probably. But
Just don't tell them about the stripping. It might make them nervous.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that on radio, but but you got to do it. But yeah.
Because I was thinking that coffee sock thing might be a good idea. You might want to try painting something on a coffee sock.
Why not?
Yeah.
And I could paint on anything.
Okay, well that's
challenge laid down.
Challenge accepted. Yeah.
What about you, Sarah? Has it sort of expanded what you thought you could do, so to speak? I mean,
I think to a
you never
certain-
thought you could put a city in a glass, so to speak, right?
Exactly. I think to a certain extent, I'm looking more at objects and products now, like how to, for example, create scenes in reality, because most of the time I do it in photography or as a video format. So now I'm looking at that, I'm considering that. But then again, it's, you know, about the most appropriate medium to convey my message. So whichever works.
It sounds like that's exactly what Art Outreach wanted to do, right? Was to get them to expand their horizons, so to speak, and get people to see that you are only limited by imagination.
Yep, it's connecting also both ends of it, right? When you think of the art continuum, you have the consumers at one end, sort of the champagne swirling, you know, art literati, that end, and then on the other end you have sort of
Bag toting too. Yep.
Yeah, true. That's me, bag toting auntie. But you know, you have the public who also tries to figure out, you know, the thing I always get from the public is art. For what?
Scared.
Art what? You
Or
know,
a bit
what is it for?
intimidated, maybe.
Correct.
Okay.
And so we are trying to use this to bridge that. And you know, what better medium or what better format than shopping, because you know, our pastimes, right? National pastimes, eating and shopping, I think. And therefore I think it's a little bit of a light-hearted play on our love, you know, and yet it has a stronger message, you know, beneath.
Sounds good to us. A big thank you to Maybelline Anderson, who is chairman of Art Outreach, also Eric Fernanda and Sarah Chu for joining us today in the living room, 938 Live.
Looking at life from a different perspective. The Living Room on 938 Live.